Any ideas?
Hi everyone. Okay, so my cell phone was checking something and forgot to get it out of the way. So hi and good afternoon. I had said last week that I was going to be painting a Giff miniature, which is true. Here's the funny thing. I had told the hubs that I wanted to make sure that I had a Giff miniature. Could he find something on Thingiverse, which he did, and he printed up for me, and I absolutely love him. Here's the funny part. I didn't realize this was one of Miguel's until last night. At this point, just assume it's Miguel's. I just started laughing when I found out last night. It's like, okay, so I'm just doing another one. But this is one he has up on Thingiverse. I do have the link in my description below. Also, let me know if, let me just fix something on the microphone. Let me know if sound-wise you need anything adjusted. I am noticing it's going slightly into the red, so there we go. Little tweak there. So yeah, I'm going to be painting this fellow up, and this fellow is going to be the mini for my NPC, Henbane Hyssop, who, is one of those NPCs who I've actually based off of an old professor of mine from London. And I took some of his little quirks and idiosyncrasies and very much heightened them to help create this little fellow's NPC character. So this is Henbane that I'm painting up. So when you hear me saying Henbane, it's this guy. So first of all, let me say hi to, we have Jan, and we have Sergeant Benton, hello, and we also have Megamoo jumped in. I am doing well today, Megamoo, and John S. just jumped in as well. Hello to you. Doing well. I have killer allergies right now, so if you see me blinking a lot or clearing my throat a lot, I am trying desperately not to give in to the pollen, because all the trees just decided to go poof all at once, which is fantastic, and it's ever so much wonderful experience for me having to, like, it's Benadryl, Zyrtec, and all this other craziness. And hello, Keely, and hello, Ravenwolf. Oh, a lot of the usuals are here. It's so good to see you guys. So yes, I'm going to be doing Henbane, and Henbane's an interesting fellow. He likes things that go boom, likes pretty ladies, and he's one to jump into combat. So he's one I can't wait for players to interact with a little bit more. We did have a little brush with him in a previous game over on Scrat's channel, and that was a lot of fun. But like I said before, I kind of took the quirks this one professor had and I really amped them up. I'm always forever going to remember him talking about the lovely Sherry Blair, Tony Blair's wife at the time. Well, I think they're still married, but at the time, Tony Blair was prime minister is what I mean. So that's where the whole, like, he likes a pretty lady comes into play. And he was also a political professor for Britain, history type of thing. So British history, there's the word I want. So it was just one of those things where just all these little tidbits about him worked their way into Henbane, and I just thought it'd be something fun to do. And let's see, we have Eleftheria. Hopefully I have that right. Hello to you as well. And oh, Jan, you're always welcome to watch. Don't even worry about that. Trust me, I get it. And for those of you who do support artists and creators on Patreon, for some reason it happens every first of the month when the payment has to come through. They always somehow things go pear-shaped where a lot of credit cards will get declined and things like that. So if you ever notice your Patreon bill seems odd, just double check your Patreon statement and that things haven't gone astray. But yes, these are basically hippopotami people, for lack of a better way to say it. They've made appearances in different campaigns on streams and stuff as well, but I thought it would be fun because BB's Place is basically targeted to bring in a bunch of different types and individuals and classes and races from different areas and everything like that, even different realms. So I wanted to get a Giff in there, and we actually had a Luxodon as a player in one of the other games, and that was so much fun as a DM to have played out, having this massive Luxodon walking through and interacting with some of the NPCs who are of a smaller stature, and some of them who have never been anywhere but where BB's takes place, which is, you know, kind of like a bayou situation. My one NPC, Evie, she's our coat check girl, works at the register desk. She was extremely perplexed by the elephant in the room. She literally cannot get past the elephant in the room. So that was a fun one to play with. But yeah, I like bringing in the different critters and creatures and races this way. Also, I've been playing around with the camera. I really have been trying to get it honed in better on the mini, so this is just going to be the way it is in front of my face. I will try to lean so you can, you know, see me every so often, but you know, this is my friend for this factor. It gets a better focus. You can see it on the table and up closer to me. And hi, Jen. Hello to you as well. So what I'm going to do first is start off with explaining what I've done to prep him. I always prep my 3D prints because we have a PRUSA, i3 Mach 2, there we go, and we use PLA for our filament. So we do get the striations, which you can kind of see here, but I find what helps with this style of print, I'm not finding this as much with the resins that Miguel has sent me in the past. It's more this style. What I will do is I go back in and I have a specific blend of Mod Podge and black acrylic paint mixed together. I will first prime my 3D print minis with that mixture, and what I find is that it helps it going perfectly into the grooves without really hiding too many of the details. So that's sort of my filler and primer at the same time. Then what I am doing afterwards for more of, I jokingly call it my speed paint process, I then go back in and I'm taking a lighter gray tone and I'm quickly dry brushing over the mini itself, and that helps bring out all of these details that you see. Today I actually played around a little bit more, and you're going to notice that the part where he's facing you right now, I purposely put more on here, kind of playing with light source a little bit, so that this side is far more highlighted than this side is. And, you know, again, just playing around with some features there. What I find by doing this, and then by thinning out my paints, it just takes away a lot of the need to go back in with a lot of highlights and washes and stuff to really bring things out. So this is why I call it my quick approach. I can get about 2 minis done in this method in about an hour and a half and not have to worry about washes. So this is what I'm going to show you how to do with this, again, amazing print from MZ4250 on Shapeways and Thingiverse. And again, I didn't realize this was one of his until last night. Next week, quick announcement for that one, next week I am doing a very special live stream where I'm actually going to be showing you some of those amazing miniatures from Cribble God Foundry. So if you want to see these, well, face to face, so to speak, up close and personal, and I will be painting one, please be sure to join me next week and you can see these minis. They're actually hopefully going to get a couple more over to me too, fingers crossed, shipping works out. But I have a few I can show you ahead of time, and I'll just feature a couple things for you. Oh, and hello, Eliam. I see you in the chat. Thank you so much. Yeah, almost to 10K. It's about 500 subs away from 10K. So I just released the Wizard, well, not Wizards, the WizKids library miniature set. That's another part of the prize giveaway that I will be doing for one lucky winner, but that doesn't start until 10K happens for the channel. So yeah, we're just it's plugging along. It's moving along. So I'm going to start with him, and what I'm going to start with first is his skin. Now, obviously, because they are hippo people, I really don't know a better way of phrasing this. And don't laugh, this wasn't intentional. I'm going to start off using Elephant Gray from Apple Barrel. You will also see me with my 3D minis, especially ones that we've printed at my home. I will use my craft paints. And Devious Dungeons, this is one of Miguel's if you haven't seen it yet. Really good. But, you know, that's just Miguel's stuff. I am completely biased. He's one of my buds. Actually, no, he's actually got a fantastic, fantastic collection. So first going to start off with the skin areas. So we're going to get the head and we're going to get the hands. Then I'm going to move on to doing his pants, his boots, and his shirt, which initially I was thinking I was going to give him a red coat, but I saw purple I want to use instead. And honestly, there are a lot of reds in BB's place, so I thought the purple would be a nice complementing contrast, so to speak. And let me get to a brush that'll work for this, for that which I want. So I'm going to start off with this elephant gray. Again, that was completely unintentional. That was not on purpose at all. Yes, it's from the Spelljammer Factor. And again, like I said, because of BBs, I like to bring in a whole bunch of different races based on things. So what I'm doing here, which you're not seeing on screen, what I will use is this airbrush flow improver from Vallejo to thin out my acrylics. So I can have these as more of a glaze than a full-on thickness of paint. You always hear the joke, thin your paints. Well, this is thinning your thinned paints. Because what I don't want this to do is completely act as an opaque cover. Since I have done that work with the highlighting, that's why I'm thinning these out a little bit. And I always say you kind of want it to be like a nice heavy cream for that texture of thinness in this case. This one's actually, we still have the heat on, so my paints are thinning differently every single day, because some days it's on, some days it's off. So a little bit more there, and you can see that's more the consistency you want. It went from this blot like this, yep, like this color to being thinned out to that. And so that's what I'm going to use for his face. Let me get that out of the way, because otherwise the camera gets feisty. But yep, it's just a very thin, like I said, it's like a glaze, but homemade. Yes, exactly. So if you look in the chat, especially if you're watching this after the fact, GWD is giving some fantastic background information. Thank you so much for doing that on the Giff race. And they really are very much focused on military endeavors and everything like that, which again led beautifully into why I based this fellow off my professor in London, because he very much liked to tell his old war stories along with the war stories of days gone by. So yeah, I tapped into him. And he was a darling little fellow. He really was. It was just a riot to hear him speak about different things and everything like that. Oop, totally. Let me get that back in frame. There we go. So, again, I'm just going on here, and a little of this paint you'll find will go a long way. And I'm actually going to do his eyes at the end, because he's got those nice hooded eyes, which makes it a lot easier. Let me just tip this. There we go. That's a little bit better. Hit it just slightly off to my natural. Pull it in and hold tight to keep it steady. Hello, Tim Fries. You're not late. You're right on time. You've joined us. I'm painting a GIF. Henbane Hyssop. And oh, the fun thing I've built in with this fellow is going into the whole military factor. He likes to tell everybody he's a general. He's not. He's not a general. Oh, well, Arthur, you're very welcome, and thank you for joining us. I'm glad that these help you kind of get a nice little, no pun intended, a nice little break from the day. They stemmed because I have a lot of awesome and wonderful followers and subscribers in Europe, and so many of them were missing out on things that would naturally happen more in the evening mode in my area, like the streams and everything, where I play games on other channels, that I wanted to do something for people who are more in the European time frame. But then I realized if we aimed it for noon, that could be a fun thing for people who want to literally have a nice break during lunch. Okay, so that gets him pretty much, his head is taken care of. And you can see here, as this dries, it'll show a little bit more the gradation of the paint. But you can tell by the muzzle here, it's a little bit lighter than further back in the creases and everything like that. That's really why I like doing this approach. All right, hands. Time to get his hands. Of course, I say it usually takes me an hour and a half to do minis when I'm not talking. there's that fun little factor. When I'm not chit-chatting with you guys, I can crank them out pretty quickly, but obviously if I'm chatting and stopping to explain things, that takes a little bit longer. But I thought it'd be fun to save this guy from one of the streams because he's such a character. I mean, just the fun details of the epaulets and I'm guessing this is a rapier based on its size and everything. But I thought he'd be a good one. All right, can I even? We'll see. We'll try. There's a little bit of his hand back here I'm going to try and get. Awkward angle. Can I turn it so you can see? Yeah, there's a little bit. This is sort of a poke the paint through and pray. It's also why I started with his skin area first, because there's some tucked away parts where if I slipped it wouldn't be that much of an issue. Well, again, I'm glad you're enjoying it. And let's see, what other news is going on? I mentioned the stream for Crippled God. That's going to be next week, and I'm looking forward to doing that. Ah, yes. Oh, that's wonderful. I'm glad that works out for a nice, relaxing evening. That was the other thing I wanted to mention. If there's a style of music, I can't do specific requests because, you know, copyright. But if there's a style of music you appreciate or you would enjoy hearing, please let me know and I can see if I can pull together a collection of that style of music. And I want to try and give it some variety. I was doing the 1920s stuff for a little bit, just, you know, thematically for my game. But, you know, that was getting to be a little bit, for me, I was getting tired of listening to it because I've been listening to it a lot for reasons. So I did try and throw in a guitar set. I think it was last week, maybe. He's got his finger through, there we go, the trigger, which I think that's actually pretty cool. I have to remember that. Oh, 5 p.m. Well, it is May. That's the one thing I do remember. Spring was so rainy when I lived in London. It was like either a perpetual mist for a couple weeks or it was lots of rainstorms. All right, I'm trying not to sneeze. I like how you all check in with what time you're looking at right now. But yes, we will get the skin finished. Is that an errant kitty fur? That might be errant kitty fur. Ever since the kitten figured out she can jump up here, I'm finding like tiny little bits of her fur every so often, which is grand when you're painting. All right, so that takes care of his skin tone. And now that this is drying, you can see how, there we go. You can see how it looks lighter up towards the front and it darkens up towards the back. And that's because of the pre-painting treatment that I did ahead of time, which you're seeing right through here in the areas I haven't painted yet. So that takes care of that. Oh, you were in Rome. I have family outside of Rome. Look at that, Achille. We have something slightly in common. All right, so that takes care of his skin tone. I'm going to move on to doing his pants. And I was going to initially do black, but now I'm thinking I might have fun and kind of do like an army green. What do you think? Should we jump to an army green? I think that might actually be fun. Give me a quick second. We're right behind the curtain. Here we go. I gotta tell you, Plaid has sent me some amazing paints. I have such a selection now. I love it. So instead of, I was initially going to do black, I'm going to do camouflage because purple and greens look fun together. So we'll do camouflage for his pants. And again, same thing. I am going to, of course, I haven't opened up this particular bottle yet. I'm going to thin this paint out and then add it on to his pant area. And you may find if you've over thinned the paints, it then turns it more into a wash, and yes, you will have to go back and do a second layer. So if this is a technique you want to try, I definitely recommend trying it out on minis where you have a little bit more play. So if you need to go back and play around a little bit more, if it's something where you need to get this done fast, careful. Careful when and how you're doing that. All right, what I want to make sure I'm also doing is stacking my paints so I can put them into my description after the fact. That's the other thing. I have people saying, how do we know which paints you've used in the live stream? I always, after the live stream, I will go back into the description and update each description so I have a list of the paints that were used in the live stream for that particular one. And I also try and go back in and add in links if we ended up talking about something specific. just to help you all out, for those of you especially who wanted to check back on something, forgot about what we had said specifically, or for people who are watching this after the fact. Fun little bit of information there. And then let's see. Oh, next week's going to be crazy. Next week, my week is actually top heavy. It actually starts on Sunday. For those of you who know my game schedule, I will play on Mini Terrain Domain weekly, because he has a wonderful channel. And Jake is a wonderful guy. And Jake is actually, he is extending the Jasper's game day, which is happening this weekend. And he's turned it into a game week, and I have a tab going on for that one. So Sunday afternoon with Jake as DM, I'm going to be playing in one of the streams to help raise money to be donated to local groups that help with raising awareness for suicide prevention and that type of thing. It was started by Fenway. She is a talented, lovely young woman. I believe I'm playing with her in that particular game as well. So please come and join us. That's at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time on Jake's channel, Mini Terrain Domain. And he's got a whole bunch going. I'm going to actually share later on a post of his that has far more detail. So if that's something you're interested in, please come and join us. There are some really cool giveaways that are happening. Some extremely talented people are also participating. I mean, the list is lovely. It's wonderful to see so many people in the community stepping out and helping out for such a great cause. So that's something that's going to be keeping me busy in the beginning of the week. So that means I'm still doing Dunera on... I'm turning down the music. I'm still doing Dunera on Monday nights, like I always do. And then Tuesday night, I'll be back on Mini Terrain Domain, this time with Nerdarchist Dave as our DM. And we're doing another Dungeons & Dragons game. And it's got a Viking theme to it, which I am all about. That is going to be fun. But yeah, it's going to be a hectic week in that respect, but a good one for good reasons. So like I said, I'll even see if I can put that Facebook post link in the description after we're done. So Jan, I'm giving you a quick little tip as not a tip request. As my lovely moderator on Discord, could you just put into Discord, don't forget to put the Jasper's Game Day information in this description. That would be a big, helpful reminder for me. Jan is my go-to guy on Discord. He's helping me out with moderating it, and I very much appreciate it, especially right now, because this is pretty much what I'm doing every single day. I'm painting minis. I'm painting like a fiend. So if you want to join us over on Discord, we'd love to have you over there. I do have a couple of public chats for everyone to jump in, and my patrons do get some exclusive chats as well as a voice chat where I will be in the chat every so often. Also try to schedule a monthly hour chat with everyone who falls into the qualifying tiers. I've just found it's become a really good resource for being able to connect more with followers and patrons. But the irony is it got started and then all of a sudden my schedule got nuts. Okay, so I haven't worked with this particular color paint before. It actually thinned out a little bit more than I wanted, so I will be going back and doing one more coat on the paint. So I'm actually glad this happened. If your paint ends up looking like this, it's just a little bit too thin. So let it dry. It won't take that long. Let it dry and go back and give it a second layer. You'll probably like the end results better that way. So while the paint's dry, and there's a spot. I love it how the camera picks up little things you may have hiccuped over. So while the paint's dry, I'm going to then do the purple coat. Thank you, Jan. At least with two of us, it gives me a fighting chance, right? Two heads better than one. So for that one, I'm going to move over to, and this was no pun intended, Royal Violet, again from Apple Barrel. This is one that is also, it tends to be on the thinner side for some reason, just in general. So I want to see how it comes out of the bottle, and we'll go from there. But yeah, I thought it'd be fun to kind of give him some interesting colors. Yeah, this one I'm not going to thin out as much because it's already starting to spread out on its own. It's not holding its form. You can see it's already weeping a little bit. So I'm just going to put in like maybe a drop of thinner on that one. Or Flow Aid, I should say, not thinner. Flow Aid. And get that mixed up, and we'll jump over to the coat. But we actually had a cool discussion this morning in the Discord chat, just in the general one, with, you know, what do you feel is usually the most necessary things to have for a game? Because one of my subscribers was talking about how she and her group are going to start doing different things and working on incorporating other factors. So we kind of went through the whole theater of the mind, as well as, yeah, see, this is a thin one. I'm actually going to add more purple. Theater of the mind, as well as just basic supplies, as well as the full terrain get up, so to speak. So I thought it was a pretty interesting conversation to have this morning. I enjoyed it. It's kind of a nice break from the usual list of to-dos that I have going on right now. All right, so let's move on to Royal Violet. Violet, you're turning violet. Yeah, this is going to be a 2-coat one, I think, by nature of this paint. That's okay, though. So I'm getting him all readied up. If anything, thinner is slightly better, so I'm not having to constantly go back in and worry about covering everything up on me. Flow 8 I find gives me a more consistent blend. What I have found with water, even when I've used my distill, every so often a paint color goes a little rogue on me, simply because of the composition of the water. Sometimes the water might have, well, my water especially, my tap water is notoriously hard water. We have such a calcium buildup already. Like once a month I have to take vinegar to all the shower heads and whatever. So that's why I go for the Flow Aid instead of water when I'm working with trying to create these thinned out paints. That's why I recommend that. Other people will use, there is paint thinner. There are different things that you can add to paints to help keep them from drying out so fast and to thin the paints out a little bit more. But for me, I just found the Flow Aid has been my best, most reliable, predictable type. Used this brand of paint for the first time last night, Travis. Pretty cool. I've learned that some of these paints, and really I shouldn't have added as much of the, I probably didn't need it honestly for the Royal Purple. I have found that their purples tend to be thinner by nature. But again, like I said, I'd rather it be slightly too thin than far too thick, because that's harder to back up and alter after the fact. All right, so I'm working around the tassels of the epaulette on the arm right now, which is actually fun that they're kind of all getting spaced a little bit. And that's another cat hair. Rory. She climbed my green screen on Monday. God help me, that kitten. She's got a lot of kitten left to her, that is for sure. All right, so that's the one arm extended. Let me get the other arm. Oh, let me throw the bottle. That was probably very loud. My apologies. What happened was I used to have tape wrapped around this, but then it started getting gummy, so I took it off. So now it's smoother than I'm used to it being. I have to remember to fix that, so I have a good grip on there. Oops. Welcome to life, where V throws her minis. But I got my itinerary for flying out, which, holy moly, did that make things real right quick. I'm getting to a point where I'm almost at the point where I know I'm on the right path in terms of timeline, but I definitely have some pieces where I'm hoping they'll get done in time, for sure. And we'll go from there. Another trick people like to do is they will take distilled water and add in just a little bit, I mean like a touch of Dawn to help thin things out. So if you don't want to take the plunge into buying the more specialty-like things, you can try that trick as well. Again, I always say what I'm using if people are interested, but I always recommend that you play around and see what works for you, because everyone has their own little happy zone. for what methods work best for their style, their painting techniques, and everything like that. The only thing I'll say thou shall not use is, honestly, finger paints. Don't use those. Just don't. Someone did ask if I'd recommend using finger paints one time. I think because they had a surplus. I want to say they were a teacher, a preschool teacher. I said, nope, I don't recommend finger paints. Those are definitely not the type of paints that work too well in miniatures. Yeah, I'm liking the purple and the green together. This shall be fun. But yes, last we heard of Henbane from the other game. He got very excited when he heard that there were exploding toads outside. So down went his gin and tonic and outran Henbane outside looking for these toads. So we'll see how he gets played. That's the nice thing with the NPCs. He can just reappear back as like, oh, didn't find the toads. And especially with a new group starting up, that won't even be an issue. It's just funny how they kind of progress and move on to different spots. Oh, thank you, James. I'm glad you're enjoying them. That's wonderful to hear. Really and truly. Okay, so almost done with this coat. The cuffs I am going to give the touch of gold. Not the touch of gray, yuck, yuck. Touch of gold. And the pants I'm going to go back over again one more time. And then I'll go back over the coat because at that point the coat should be about where I want it. What I might do, I'm still, may or may not, I'm debating. I might go around and just do a very thin gold trim around the base of the coat, around the tail area at the hemline. That's more my getting very fussy than anything else. So we shall see. But yeah, so let me go back to doing a second layer on those pants because that's looking about where I need it. And then we'll do a second layer of the purple on the coat, and then we'll move on to treating the gold and the leather and the weapons is the game plan for this guy today. So again, this was Camouflage. Where did I put it? Camouflage. Here, Camouflage. From Apple Barrel. Yeah, just straight up Camouflage, not Camouflage Green. That's the other thing. Some of the paints, they all have similar names, so it's like, which one was that? Was that Camouflage Effect? So again, just going back in, second layer. Yeah, that's more the coverage I'm looking for. So this was a 2-layer deal. No big deal. It goes on smoothly and quickly enough as it is. All right, so you can see, here's the difference here. You're seeing a lot more of those details still coming through. This one's darkening it up a little bit. But this is showing you the end result effect I like to get on my minis when I'm doing this technique. So you still get some of those touches of the lighter tone, but you're working with the green playing off of it now, as opposed to it blasting through the green. You know, and especially if you're a beginner with mini paints, play around with it. See where you want to go with your style, because everyone does have their own painting style too, which is always fun to see when people take the same mini and create very different looks. Yes, Achille, I didn't do the spray. Remember with my 3D prints, I don't do the spray. I do the Mod Podge and black acrylic paint mixed together so that it creates a little bit of filler factor on the 3D prints that we print at my house because of the PLA filament. So there's that to consider. But then I did go back in and yes, do the lighter gray dry brushing that you've seen me do on other streams. I'll just keep working around here. Work carefully around the hilt and his dagger. Actually, I'm looking here. Yeah, that isn't a sheath. Just looking at the dagger to see if it was sheathed or unsheathed. All right, Birch, thank you for joining. Appreciate it. Hello and goodbye. I don't think I said hello to you earlier. Okay, so I'm happy with the pants as so. The coat still has a couple little wet spots on it, so I'm going to let that be. Just want to make sure it's totally dry, because sometimes if you go in and it's not dry enough yet, you actually pull the paints up, which you don't want to do. That's why making sure it's well dried is important when you go back in for your second layer. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put on, it's called Golden Sunset first. So I'm going to put this fellow on first, and then when this dries, I'm going to go back in for the gold accents with antique gold. I find, especially with the metallics sometimes, if you try and go in straight away with the metallics, it dulls them. You really don't see the color as well. If you give your golds and your silvers different undertones and different bases of colors, you can actually play around and have a lot of fun with these. So because I want this to stay more of a true gold, I went for a darker golden sunset, so it has that golden tone. It's not a bright yellow. If you wanted a garish gold, then a very bright light orange or light yellow would give you a garish gold tone. This is going to have more of an antique-ish gold undertone to it because of the darker color. So I'm going to go in with Golden Sunset, which lately we've been having some gorgeous sunsets because of the weather. Printer is the PRUSA i3 Mach 2, settings according to Danny's settings that he recommends on his channel, 3D Printed Tabletop. I think I got all the information down. If you haven't checked out Danny's channel and you're looking to get into 3D printing, please jump over there and check him out because he's got a lot of helpful advice. He also has a Facebook group as well where the whole community has a lot of great tips and advice for people just getting into 3D prints and everything like that. But yeah, that's what we use right now. And what's interesting is we found that one of the filaments, we got a new filament, we got one with black. We found that that one's actually working really well for even better details, which you'll find happens sometimes. But yeah, that's what we're using for our printer. It was an anniversary gift to each other 2 years ago. We don't enable each other at all. Not in the least. All right, so I'm going in with Golden Sunset. I'm going to start on this first, work over and around. And again, this is so it can be the base color for the actual metallic gold. So in this case, I really don't want this to be super duper duper thick, but I do want its color to start working for us underneath the metallic, is my method of madness at this point. I realize I translated that as part of the epaulette. I'm going to fix that in a second. That was actually the shoulder. And tip them to get just a little bit tucked underneath. Let's see here. Oh, you're welcome, Travis. No problem at all. None whatsoever. I mean, I know they have an updated version of the printer we have, so obviously go for that one. And it's also there's a learning curve when you're working with a 3D printer. So do expect that. Some people luck out and they just get great results right away. Some people have to play around a little bit. So don't get discouraged if you're like, why are my prints looking like some sort of hot mess? It's not uncommon. That's again where you jump into the groups and people will happily give you some advice. I'm just putting paint where I should put paint before. But yeah, it's definitely, it's been a super useful tool, especially getting things ready. I am quite thankful we have it. It's been a huge help with getting certain bits of scatter pulled together. Like, I need a stove, like a stove from the 1920s type of stove. That was not something I was finding easily until I checked out Thingiverse, and sure enough, thankfully, someone had designed a miniature stove. So that's where it's been a really big help when I need to get more modern looking like pieces. That's where I've been looking at Thingiverse and Shapeways, and 98% of the time they have definitely been the trick. I'm still looking for a miniature baby grand piano. We shall see. My buddy Chris did try to help me out, but he sent me the file of the one we already tried, and it wasn't meant to be scaled or played around with. The print itself failed. We tried a couple times, unfortunately. It just wasn't meant to be, and that happens sometimes. But definitely make sure you go over and you follow Miguel for his prints if you are into printing, thinking about getting into printing, so on and so forth. All right, working around. But yeah, I was woke up this morning and it was 9,500. Yay! Hey, Miguel just jumped in. How you doing, bud? I was just saying, for people who want to get into 3D printing, they need to follow you. And look, he appeared! It's like magic. Hey, I'm always happy to paint your minis, even if I don't realize they're your minis until 12 hours before the stream itself. It really was too funny last night. I'm like, okay. Well, clearly, we have a go-to guy for our models. No complaints here, though. Let's see here. Travis just got into printing. Yeah, that's great. We've definitely found that, especially my husband, he will, when he's plotting out like the next session for the campaign and stuff for the games he does, I can tell when we don't have something and he needs it because he'll be on Thingiverse and Shapeways just hunting and pecking through, looking for what he needs for a miniature or even for a bit of scatter or terrain. They definitely help in that respect, where it's like, I need this and I can't find it, or I need this and the stores are all closed and I need it for tomorrow morning. That has happened. That has happened. Just a little tassel. Do-do-do. Okay, got that tassel. Gonna get the cuffs. You know, and the fun thing is that Mr. Muse, as I jokingly call him, he's started to get into painting. Oh, well, thanks, Miguel. I changed it from red to blue to purple. Because I know I was chatting with you this morning about it. What am I going to do for his coat? Yeah, I went with purple instead. Which I'm going to go back and do another layer of that as soon as I finish putting on the golden sunset, where the gold accents are. Yep, that works. Next cuff. Nah, Miguel's a cool dude. He is also on Patreon if you want to check him out too. You may even find you have a lot more of your creators and artists on there. There you go. Thanks, Miguel. Promote yourself, sir. Please. By all means. I'm not even kidding. Get the word out. Okay, that's the second cuff. So make sure this is all the... Yeah, you know what? I don't think I'm gonna do that little bit in the back. Just gonna leave it to these guys up at the top with the collar and the shoulders and the cuffs. We shall do that. All right, cool. Now I'm gonna go back and take care of the second layer on the coat. Ooh, I like how you're all asking him his techniques. Yes, Miguel. Regale us with your secrets. I mean, if you want. All colors are your favorite. Yeah, I'm kind of hard pushed with favorite color too. I'm not gonna lie. There are definitely go-to colors. It doesn't make them my favorite. I just find they get used more often than not. Same thing as before, like with the pants. Just gonna add another layer. And then we'll go from there. I will be jumping down to the boots next. Thinking I might give his boots like that glossy black look. That could be fun to play around with. I can see him being one who polishes his boots religiously. I like it. She's already working on you for that one. How hard would it be the baby grand? That's honestly just me really envisioning one thing in my head and wanting that to happen. There are some upright miniature pianos that I could easily use. Push comes to shove. Which is my way of saying, don't make yourself nuts, Miguel. You don't have to. I just had a very particular look in my head based on the NPC I created it for. We shall see. Again, I'm not putting too thick of a coat on. No khaki pants. No khaki pants. We went with camo. Nice camo green. I did like how the Morcos came out, though. They're impishly wonderful. They have those little grins. It's like, oh, if only you knew. And hopefully I got a few of you checking out the Creature Codex, because that's just been an amazing resource. Oh, I forgot to get the back of the collar. Well, that we can fix. I'm telling you. Having one of those, if my head was not attached to my shoulders days, thanks to... I caved. I had to do Benadryl. Aw, you're a doll. I'm sure I could. Again, the biggest issue right now is time, because I am still getting a lot of stuff ready. And I know I don't have the time to try and make the piano, keep things going for videos, be in the games that I'm in, paint the minis I need painted, and so forth. Which is why Miguel is still tried and true my hero for helping me out. That would be awesome. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You know, if it wasn't such a matter of, I gotta get this done and eep, there's how many? I don't want to know how many weeks left. I think there's 6 weeks left. Yeah, I don't have the time. Heck. There's actually a couple projects I've had to put on the back burner because of this time frame issue. Doesn't mean I'm not going to get to them. Just means not yet. That is all. Okay, finishing up with this second layer of the royal violet, I should say, not the royal purple, royal violet. And now his coat is where I want it. That's the level of coverage I want. Yay! Now I gotta get that collar, the back of the collar, with the gold, which is still there. We're still good. It's copacetic. Alright, let me get the top of the collar here. I do that first, and then I'll do the other part. I got you, dog. That's awesome. Thank you so much. That would be Sebastian. I'm sure my kids think I'm crazy because I'll walk around the house and ask them to do things, and I'm purposely practicing the NPC voices. So, you know, this morning was, you gotta get your laundry out of your closet, kids, because Mom's gotta do laundry later this afternoon, and if you don't bring it downstairs, it ain't getting clean. I love Sebastian. He is my doll of a bouncer at BB's. Okay, that's better. That's better. Alright, so Henbane's getting some color on him. Alright, I think what I'm going to do is move on to the boots. And then I'll do the leather pieces. And then I'll do the metal pieces. Oh, no, actually what I should do... Let me think here. No, boots. These boots were made for walking. And that's a song that's going to be stuck in my head now. Oh, joy. Alright, so I'm not actually jumping into true black. I'm going for pavement. Reason being, I don't want it to be such a flat color black. And ew. Well, this one's at the end of its bottle. I don't know if you can see it. It's like totally sludgy. Definitely going to be adding some of the flow improver. And Plaid did send me a version of their own that I did play around with. You'll actually see it in this week's video, and I liked it. And I have used it for a couple other minis, but interestingly enough, it doesn't play nicely with paints that have been thinned out on 3D printed minis for some reason. Not quite sure the why of that. But yeah, that was a little bit of a surprise. Otherwise, it was fun to use. And hopefully like what I'm doing for you this week for a tutorial. I've enjoyed the end result. I hope you enjoy it. It's definitely one of those more enhance your game with props and accessories style tutorial. It's not so much terrain based as it is, it's basically showing how to make what looks like antique vellum, really old paper type of look. Alright, now I'm going in for the boots using Pavement, which is just a really nice, I mean, it's technically a very dark gray, but I like how it translates as a, you know, a lighter, lighter black, which, you know, that's technically what gray is, but you get what I mean. It interprets well as a black without it being black. Just tuck it up here. Now, quick reminder for all of you out there, Sunday is Mother's Day. Don't forget. For those of you who celebrate in the US, just doing my civic duty today. Don't forget Mom if you celebrate it. Because quite frankly, I forgot. I forgot it's Mother's Day. Luckily, I remembered on Sunday it's coming up so I could, you know, get something out to my own mother. Remind my husband to get something for his mother. He was actually pretty good. He goes, yeah, I was already planning it, so yay. But not Sunday, Saturday. But yeah, Mother's Day, Sunday. Don't forget. Always good to remember. But it is okay if you sometimes forget. Except for when it's Mother's Day. Oh boy. Alright, these boots are a one and done, which I'm quite thrilled about, actually. Steal. That one got a little bit more than I wanted, so now I can share. Okay, those are the boots. Ta-da! Oh, Henbane. This is going to be so much fun. Okay, that takes care of the boots. I'm going to do the leather now. And after the leather, I should be able to... You know what I might actually do? I think I'm going to put, now that I've said that, let me put some of this pavement onto the pistol. Because I think that's going to need some of it. So... I do want it to be a very light coat though, so I actually just... doing a very thin layer. I'm not loading the brush too much. I'm actually blotting off on my hand as I've been known to do. You know what, the butt of the pistol, I'm going to put brown on that so it looks like wood. So I'm putting the pavement onto the barrel, and the butt of the pistol is going to get brown on it. That will be the plan there. Turn this upside down. That swishing sound is the sand that's in my bottle, which I do to help keep it weighted, which theoretically helps you keep a better grip, which if you were here earlier, hi, it not me. That sucker went. Boy, did that ever go flying across. All right, I'm just getting the trigger area too. All right. So there's the pistol with the pavement on it, but very light coating of pavement. And now I will jump over to my brown Well, aside from it being Mother's Day, does anyone else have fun plans for this coming weekend? I have, ironically, mom duties on Saturday, getting kids birthday parties and all that fun stuff. And then we have Mother's Day. So we'll see what we're going to do. I don't know what they have planned. I know they're plotting. My boys are plotting something. We shall see what. So what I'm going to do for the brown leather, because I have it pictured he kind of has like the nicer things. So I'm actually going to use, it's just called Real Brown, but I'm using the Outdoor Gloss. In this case, I find it kind of gives it that nice, like, polished leather look, which is why I'm going for that one. So you go live over there. We've used you guys. We've used you. We've used you. This is me organizing my paints, just so I have everything where I need it. And it's actually a thin paint on its own, so I am not thinning this paint out at all. It's not necessary, but I am going to go in and, oh, did I rinse that? I don't think I did. Let me rinse the brush, and I'll go and I'll put the brown in where the leather is. All right, so we're going to start with this upper shoulder area here. Get his pouch. There we go. But see, this is one I didn't even thin out at all because the paint itself tends to run thin. Hence why I didn't need to use the flow improver at all. I get quiet when I'm really trying to make sure I paint within the lines. Color within the lines, paint within the lines. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush for this part because I do want to get it. You can see there's that little ridge that I want to get to. So I jump down to a narrower brush, and this is where it helps to really lock things up against each other to keep your hand steady. And just dancing that paint carefully along that edge. I'm not actually looking to get it right up against where the coat is, just enough to give it the color. And then just kind of let the rest fall into shadow, which is why I like using that black base dry brush gray. Helps get that shadow effect going nicely. I'm going to be doing the same over here. To the top of the bag. Which can I get angled in there? Yeah. There we go. See? It's getting there. Yay. Hooray. I'm actually just going to stick to the smaller brush. Save me the back and forth. Oh, yeah. I don't allow links in the chat, Jan, because of past poster issues that we've had with certain links getting shared that were not appropriate. So unfortunately, no, the only people who can share links are myself, well, and other moderators for the channel, which I don't have that many. Just as a preventative measure, because last time it happened, it was not pretty. And we want to prevent that from happening again. Yeah, the Discord server I will pop into the description below, or if you give me a quick second, I can hit the show button because the link just showed up to give me the option to post. Give me just one quick minute and I'll allow it. But I also have my groove going on. I don't want to put this down. All right, Miguel, thanks for jumping in for a little bit. Good to see you as always, and I'm sure we will chat later. Have a great day. Take care. Thank you. I appreciate that. I know, 10K. Yay! Craziness. Good craziness. Wonderful craziness. It's really been lovely getting to meet people and interact with people who follow the channel and the social media bits and everything. And I've actually had this nice little string of just getting some really sweet emails lately, which is also great. All right. Since I did move my hands, we'll show that now. So that is the Discord server link that Jan has shared, and John S. Why did that get flagged? That was weird. John S., yours got flagged too, and I have no idea why. Yeah, trolls and ogres. Those guys. Those guys. All right, I am also going to do the same thing here that I did before with getting... Granted, if people are looking at him like this and they're holding him, they're not looking at him on the table, but still just get a little bit of that brown onto that ledge there. Remember, you don't have to make yourself nuts if this is just going on your table and you're not entering a competition. Keep that 3-foot rule in mind. All right, and there's a little bit of this tucking out right between here. So I do want to get that. There we go. Which will wrap us around to where I started, on the strap at least. Okay. And I have this pouch and the belt to address as well. We get these guys in brown. And the fun thing is I will go back and do washes on his leather work and use 2 different types. I'll use the Agrax Earthshade from Citadel on the main pouch, and then I'm going to jump over to doing the sepia for the little pouch, and that'll actually give the browns the real brown 2 different tones. That's what I'm trying to say here. So that's a quick little trick. Achievement unlocked. Yeah, because you said what was it, orcs and goblins? You know, because we don't like or trolls and goblins. There was trolls, yes. Trolls, talking about orcs and goblins. I find that hilarious that gets flagged and some other stuff has snuck by. It's just like, so that's not okay, but other stuff has been? Very interesting. Very interesting. YouTube's weird. Sometimes I swear some posts just don't even show up. And then I'll be looking at the After Effects stream just to see if there's stuff I need to remember to plug in or whatever, if anything went wonky. Or timestamps, if people want certain timestamps. Then I'll be like, wait, why is that showing up now? Didn't show up before. Okay, there we go. And this dagger does have a sheath, so I'll again keep using this brown on that section. How are we doing on time? Oh, 1 o'clock on the dot. Perfect. We're tracking just as I had hoped. I'm hoping to have this done around 1:30-ish today, which, based on the progress I'm making with this fellow, we should make it. Oh no, his rapier broke at some point. Oh, probably when I dropped it. All right, well that's easy enough to fix once I find the piece. So when I dropped it, his broke off. So I'm going to address that after the fact because I may have to do a little kit bashing with the sword blade, which basically will be like, you know, taking care of that issue. Oh well, my total bad. Shoot. Although I will admit, the printer printed that out pretty flimsy, so I'm not surprised it snapped. And if anything, probably would have snapped in transit. Bronze, silver, golden trophy. Oh god. I think because it was so nicely thematically appropriate, I give him a gold trophy for that comment. That was good. We'll do a gold trophy for clever, witty repartee. How's that? Do we like that? John S. gets the gold trophy today for a clever comment that YouTube thought was blockable. Oh boy. Yoink. Just a little bit more to get around for the... It's a technical term, the... Just double check here. Use a little bit there. Okay, pistol. think we are ready to start doing some actual gold on him. Gosh, I love it. It's so much fun playing around with different classes and races. The neat things we get now because of it. All right, so for that, I am jumping in. Nope, that's the other one. I based it with that, the Golden Sunset, and then I'm going to use Antique Gold for the actual metallic. And this is another one of those paints where I'm not going to worry about thinning it because it's thin on its own. I am going to just pull some off the brush that I can play with a little bit more. And I'm going to start applying it to his collar. Like so. And we do have a little bit that strayed. There we go. That'll work. Let me turn my palette. Get the gold closer. That helps. And now what this does, it gives it the nice gleam of it being gold. But that golden sunset underneath helps it from just looking weird and pale. I think the color will probably show you a little bit better in the back here. Or not. The camera's being... Well, it's showing up here in front of my face. You get the flashy gold. I think the camera's just translating it as kind of the same thing. Why bother? Which happens sometimes. But obviously when I go back in for glamour shots for him, you'll see. I really do try and be good about getting those. And if anything, they do end up on my Facebook and Twitter accounts. If not in the community tab here on YouTube. So if you haven't found me over there yet, find me on Twitter and Facebook. Oh, and that's the other cool thing. I forgot about this. I realized that Facebook now has it where you can do these things called learning units. So what I've been working on is getting units of sort of like frequently asked questions and things like that, so that when people come in, who especially new to crafting, when it's things like what supply should I get, I want to do one about paints for terrain and for minis, you can have it set up where people can go to the learning tab and they'll see all these categories. They can just jump in and get information right then and there. And then, this was the best part, I can actually take older posts and filter them into those units so that things that people have posted in the past can still prove helpful to those looking. Because sometimes those search features and groups, yeah, they're there, but sometimes they don't pick it up, everything that they possibly could. So I'm hoping that this will become a easier option for people for finding things and finding topics regarding their question. All right, we're moving along with him. I got the other tassels though. Back around to the tassels. So we'll get the gold on the yellow parts essentially. And then I'll go back in and I'll do the metallic on the pistol and the dagger, but the sword I have to reconsider. I have to fix that. That's totally on me. Oops. Quite frankly, I might just take one. We have leftover swords from the kids' toys that they've either broken or lost or something. So I save those so that I can use them for miniatures and crafts. So I think I'm just going to go in and give him a different sword since the other one snapped. Bummer, but so it is. Okay, you can kind of see the difference between the two. So this is the one that doesn't have the metal on it. This is the one that has the metallic on it. Slightly warmer, and you can see there's the little bit of that shine thanks to the metallic. All right, let me keep working across and we'll get the other epaulette as well. Sneaky sneak. All right, just double check. Okay, so yeah, that side of his body is done. Now I just have this side. How much do you use craft paint compared to 50/50, quite frankly? I like all paints. I have some Vallejo paints that are fantastic. I have some that I am close to throwing out the bottles because of their consistency or lack thereof. Same thing for craft paints. No, Achille, I'll use, depending on the look of the gold that I want, I'll change the undertone. If I want a really old looking gold, I would have done all of this in a burnt umber. Because I knew he's more of a flashy type, I went for something that's sort of between a bright yellow and the brown, so like a mustard yellow. So it's still a very flashy looking gold, but it's not garish gold. If I want a very garish, bright, almost like a gold plated fake gold look, then I'll use a yellow, a brighter yellow. I play around with undercoats a lot. A lot of it's based on the end effect and the look that I want for each mini. But you've seen me kind of play around with colors in the past. I mean, good grief, for my one dice tower, people got a little shaky about the fact that I used, it was like oranges and yellows and reds and purples and greens before putting the top coat onto the dice tower, because I was going for a sandstone effect, rainbow sandstone specifically. And people were surprised that I had all these colors going on, but once you did that last layer of paint, it brought it to look like a sandstone. All the paints except for finger paints. Exactly. John S., you've been paying attention. Look at you. You got your trophy. I might have to give you a gold star for that one. That's the one thing I wish YouTube had like Twitch, like custom emojis. I don't think YouTube has those. I haven't noticed if they do. The Discord server does, which I did. There is a Crafting Muse emoji in there. But I do need to be better about trying to find some other emojis to add. Or if not, make them. But obviously, that lovely thing called time on my end. That could be fun. People create their own emojis and submit them for which one will be the emoji of the month. There you go. Almost done with gold, and then we'll go over to this. What color did I end up with? We'll see in a minute. Little touch there. Let me get that side of the epaulette, and that's it for the gold, I believe. So let's see, we've talked about music requests, we've talked about emojis. Slipped the gold. Don't yell at me about my brushes, I do that all the time. Okay, so yeah, that takes care of the... Now it's showing up more that we've taken care of both sides, but you can see it's got that nice gloss going on. Hooray. All right, now to get this and do this. Oh, and the belt buckle. That's the other thing I was going to make, the silver tone. So that guy's going to get some of this. That guy's going to get some of the silver. This guy's going to get some of the silver. It's a very dark silver, which I like. This guy, R.I.P., I have to figure out what to do about that little oopsie-daisy on my end. Although, again, it probably would have done it in transit, so better now than over in the UK where I have to figure out how to fix it fast. And I don't have my workstation. Okay, so for the chatterbox that I am, we're going to brush over to brushed dark gray. And this is Folk Art brushed metal. I find this is really great for weapons if you want them to be that darker metal look. This has become my nice little go-to. Again, don't need to thin it though, just because of its own consistency. It's kind of the general rule with metallic paints I've noticed. They're all... It's not that they're watery, it's just that the pigment isn't as intense as other paints would be. The hippo is going to England. Yes, Henbane, of course, is going to the UK. He's one of BB's well-known patrons, so of course he's going to be there. It should be fun. It really should be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. All right, get that back in. There we go. Look at that. This is really a color that I'm just like, especially if you're doing a lot of things like pistols, it's a good color in metallics for that. He's trigger happy. Well, not really, but he's got his finger on the trigger, ready to pull. Yes, he likes his explosions. He likes things that go boom. A pretty face, a loud bang, and he's a happy camper. Well, and if anyone says, you know, let's go fight the bad guy, he'll hop up off the stool and tally-ho up right next to you. Provided he's not too deep in his cup. Otherwise, he just falls asleep and he snores at the table. You know, I may give a lot of backstory to my NPCs. Just a touch. All right, now we're getting underneath. Now what I'm not going to do is put this into the barrel itself because I want that to have the muted, like the smoke covered look to metal, as if he had just fired his gun. But I do want to get the edge of the barrel. So I'm not looking to get into that well, but I am looking to get into the edge there. There we go. Just like so. All right, I'm happy with that pistol. Ta-da! Now for the dagger. Dagger, dagger, dagger. Oh, Ravenwolf. Okay, cool. Jump on in. We'll be happy to have you as one of our people. Our people! This guy doesn't need too much because, again, it's just the handle. Since it's sheathed. And the buckle. Buckle, buckle, buckle. Buckle up, folks. It's going to be a bumpy ride. Well, it was for him. Again, just putting this onto that buckled area. There you go. He's taking shape here. Huzzah! And the base, I'm honestly just going to go back with a black acrylic and just... Did I get paint on the camera? Probably. Just do a black base on this one because I'm trying to keep the bases more simplified except for like the really major NPCs. Those are the ones who get the wooden floor base. But for the ones who can kind of pop in and out, I'm not going as nuts with their bases because I want the other features of the terrain to show through as well. I feel that he would know the whole song. Absolutely, he would. He absolutely would. Oh, crud, that means I need to remind myself how that whole one goes. Have fun in customs. There's a hippo with a gun. Yeah, I know. Customs is going to be fun. I'm going to be carrying all these little miniature things and like, this is... please, dear God, know what Dungeons and Dragons is, Mr. Customs Agent, sir. I already have worries about that one, trust me. Okay, so he's pretty much taking shape as I'd hoped. The washes I'm going to do in a little bit. Again, that's going to be the Agrax on this one, the Seraphim Sepia on this guy, and then I'll, you know what, I think I'll just get some of the metallic on what's still here. So if I do find the other piece, I can just paint that and reattach. Or if I need to, I can just shear it off here and add in another blade. I'll play around with that one. But yeah. That's going to be a fun little trip through customs explaining my collection. So, God. There's little things where part of me is like, oh, how am I going to do this part? And one of those is customs. How am I going to get through customs with all of this and not have them think I'm some sort of crazy dollhouse lady? Although actually that might be a better way to present it. It's just stuff I get, you know, I'm bringing for a dollhouse. No big deal. It's a dollhouse convention. Right? Sure. Alright, let me just get the back portion here. Although it would be rather comedic if he had a broken sword. I might play with this. We'll see. Alright, so I just have a couple of things to do here. Obviously because of the pavement it gets a little bit darker, so I'm going to go back in and just lightly with, did I grab graphite? I don't think I did grab graphite. With graphite I'm going to go back in and sort of hand paint those edges for the soles and for the folds in the boot. Which you can see right there, there's a fold right there I want to get, and then just between the soles and the edge of the boot right there. So I'll do that with graphite. Really, I'm liking how his uniform's looking, so I'm not going to play with worrying about highlights on this one. The other thing is because the striations are a little bit more notable, I don't want to get too much into dry brushing any further. I am happy with how his face is looking, especially because I am going to go back in and do a quick Nuln oil on the face, as well as the pistol, so that'll help the hands. This is where I assess if I really need to worry about washes. So I might actually do a couple washes, and then I'll take his picture and I'll explain what I did after the fact with that one. But let me get, as I'm chatting, let me get graphite so I can show you what I'm doing with the boots. The boots were made for walking. No, graphite, not pewter. That's dark gray. Where's graphite? Pewter, pewter, graphite. Here we go. I know I had it. I just was not finding it. It's not what it looks like. Oh God, it really is not what it looks like. Or maybe it is what it looks like. What do you think these are? Yeah, I definitely have to make sure, you know, they're claimed. It's like, especially coming back home, it's like, no, I didn't buy all of these. I'm bringing them to and from with me. Thank you very much. I made them. I painted them. Whoops, back into frame. So as you can see there, I'm just doing it very light. And the graphite is like a step up from the pavement. That sounded funny. Another trick I do is I'll use my thumbnail just to kind of get the paint pulled down a little bit. You can see I'm just going around those little raised ridges. I am going to finish the boots with, can I reach it? I can. Camera's going to shake just by inevitability. I am going to put this onto the boots because it'll gloss the boots up so they look like they're polished boots. That's the other thing I'm going to do after the fact. Because if I put it on now, it's going to look white until it dries to its glossy finish. But I like the Mod Podge gloss for making things shiny. Okay, that takes care of the one ankle, I believe. Oh, nope, got still this little bit over here. Back portion here. Alright, so that takes care of the one boot. I toss up my hair. I should not have touched my hair. You should see me when I'm actually like hardcore into it, painting a string of minis in front of me. My hair is up in this crazy bun at the top of my head. And, you know, every so often there'll probably be like a little bit of... Oh God, spit shine boots, right? But yep, he's definitely the spit shine type. Oop. Hold on, there we go. Now these two folds are actually closer to each other. I'm actually going to cheat it and purposely make that one a little bit thicker, like that, yeah. Just to create that delineation between the two. There we go. He's coming together. Over me. Yes, I just went into Beatles. And I'm also taking this and I'm just going around the edge of the sole. Same reason. To play up these different bits of his boots. Yep. Almost there. Almost there, folks. I love my Wednesdays getting to hang out with you guys. It's a lot of fun. Let's see. Today we gave out the golden trophy for getting blocked without it being an issue. That really was just so funny. And we're almost done. Oop, there we go. Need some more. Okay, so that takes care of his boots. Now we have that little... See, now they just don't look like lumps. So we'll get that going. All right, let me think here. Do we have time? We have time, and he's actually dry enough. All right, I'm going to toss in some washes now. So with him, I am going to do a few washes. And again, this is where some of them, I actually don't need washes at all. The slads that I did, as well as the, what was it? One of the hags that I painted up. Didn't need to go back in with washes, just with the way everything worked out. Show us a pic with the ponytail. I mean, I do the ponytail now, but a certain feline has run off with the majority of my hair ties now that I'm looking. Little stinker. All right, so here we go. Camera's gonna move because my camera's hooked to my wash shelf. Sorry. Oh, I need to charge that battery for the GoPro. All right, this is my lovely little. I actually need to order one soon because my little collection of washes that I got from Citadel has run out. All right, so we can actually play around with a lot of colors. What I'll do is for the purple, we'll do the Carroburg Crimson. And I know it's crimson, but it's got a almost a Merlot look to it. And then this is the Agrax that I want to use. Pull that guy out. Oh, we'll use Antonian on the pants. Why not? And then here's the Nuln. That's going to go onto his face and the weapons. And what else? I'm not gonna... Here we go. I'll do the Seraphim Sepia on the one pouch and then also on the gold areas. I'm not going to do the... I was thinking maybe the Cassandora yellow, but it's going to make it too bright. So, all right, you guys go live over there. We don't need you right now. I'm going to start first with... I think the coat. We'll do the coat first. We'll coat the coat, and then we'll move around. So for that, I'm going to move on to just a nice brush like this. And start applying. Oop, get him in frame, that would help. So we're starting with the crimson shade essentially. Getting that popped on. I love his tummy. That just cracks me up, his little dad bod. Right? That's what they're calling it now? The dad bod. You don't have to go too ham. Just enough. Yeah, I'm liking this. I am being careful around where the gold is and where the brown is too. And I'm actually going to end using the Agrax just because it gives this, it'll give this zone and this zone up here time to dry. So basically I'm doing almost head, shoulders, knee, toes. We're doing body, head, pants. Then we'll hopefully have time to loop it around. Is the plan. The best laid plan of mice and men, right? We shall see. Get this arm before I forget. And then hop over. Okay, so that's with the crimson on him. And in terms of the shine, that's where I'm going to go in by hand, and I'll use my matte Ultra because I really like how that mattifies. And then I'm going to go back in with the Mod Podge gloss for the pants, not the pants, the boots. That's the word. Das Boots. All right, Antonian for the pants. Rinse the brush. Otherwise, we're just making mud. But yeah, we're probably going to wrap up a little bit over, probably another 5-10 tops. And then I shall say my goodbyes and jump back over to video editing because I have the video coming out on Friday that I need to finish up. I just finished the craft itself this morning and got its glamour shots done, but now I got to get it all pulled together, get clips and voiceover and all that fun stuff going. And I hope you like it. I hope you enjoy what's coming out on Friday. I liked doing it because it might give people some inspiration, no pun intended, inspiration for different things they can do as DMs or even as players to help out DMs with, I guess, props would be the word. But yeah, I'm excited for it. Okay, that's the pants. Let's do Nuln now. Jump over to that guy. No, I want sepia. Keep the sepia. Where's Nuln? Right there. Right in front of me. It's like I just showed it to you. I know it's on the table. Alright, so I'm going to put this on the boots. And that's where having the graphite really will help come into play too. There we go. Oh yes, I'm liking that a lot. It also kind of gives you an idea of what his boots will look like when I get the glossy Mod Podge on instead of having just the matte pavement paint. But yeah, Henbane's on the way of being almost done outside of my fixing the sword. Silly V. Clumsy V. This is V. This is beyond Benadryl. Any questions? That, and I have to remember to get the grip put back onto this. That really is more it than anything else. Okay, so we have that, and then I'm also putting the Nuln on the hand area. As well as the half sword. But you can see right there, it just brought out the fingers that much more. Like I wanted it to, so hooray, huzzah. I'm also going to put it here on the pistol. And I am bringing it down onto the butt of the pistol too, to intensify things there. And with 3D prints, I don't go super loaded on my brush just in case. I find it's easier to control a smaller amount. I do want to get some into the... Okay, so that's the other one. See there, fingers popped right out. Yay! Although that sounds rather... Oh, you're welcome, guys. I don't, honestly, like I said, I enjoy doing these because I feel like it gives me a chance to sit and chat with some people once a week. Kind of lets you know what's going on and how things are going with me and progress on projects, so on and so forth. And it's also fun to hear from you. I enjoy reading you're doing different things and trying out different stuff. It's fantastic. But yeah, you can see how this is really, even just starting to move it around, you see it's bringing out the different features of them that much more, which has me tickled pink. That would have been funny if this was like a pig person, but it's not. It's a hippo person. Get down there. Sometimes you have to let it sit a little bit, and you might have to blot your brush and pull back a little bit, like I just did on the forehead. That's the nice thing. You can pull the wash away if you feel like it's puddling or pooling in places too intensely. Okay, yeah, I'm liking that a lot. There we go. Oh, Henbane. Okay, that leaves us. I'll do the sepia and then the Agrax. So yeah, we're looking pretty good. Sepia right here. This one has more of a warm, it's still sort of, it falls into that golden brown. So it's a very warm brown. And I will use that to my advantage on certain things. So I'm going to put this first on this pouch over here, because I want that pouch to be a slightly different tone than when I go through to put the Agrax on. Actually, I'm going to put this onto the gold. I'm going to put the sepia onto the gold. I do this all the time. I like change my mind at the last minute. I am painting a Giff, and I'm almost done with him, Scott. This is a Giff from Miguel Zavala MZ 4250 over on Thingiverse and Shapeways, who joined us earlier. And he created this lovely file, and we've printed this out at home. Well, I have printed, my husband's printed this out, and I'm painting it. Painting this out using some various acrylics. Henbane the Hungry Hippo General, yes. Oh, God. That would be funny. Get a whole bunch of these guys printed out and their coats be the different colors of the Hungry Hippos. That would be really fun. That would be a silly encounter for sure. But right now I'm finishing him up with just a variety of washes, letting him dry, and then I'll go back in with sealing him with different types of finishes. And then I'll take pictures of him and share him. Oh, well, that's a shame. But I'm glad you can catch them on the flip side. I know I have to have them go into unlisted mode while I fine-tune things and make sure everything's okay for monetization. But they usually go live within a couple hours of having been done. I've had a few people asking about that. Like, they try and catch it. Oh, I missed the live show. Let me catch it at 1 or 2, and sometimes it's not there. That's more because of, well, admin paperwork, I guess, is what you label it as for me. All right, let me get the cuff. Again, sticking with this sepia. This is why I like this set from Citadel. I get all of the color blends I need. And I can play around with washes. All right, left. All that's left now is Agrax, which we're going to jump onto. And then glue a bunch of baby. Oh, John, you almost broke me with that one. No! Have the man cannons! Oh my god, that'd be hysterical. They each get a small cannon, like a child's cannon toy almost. And they're firing them at each other, and they have to, like, collect the cannonballs. I'm thinking about that way too much. I haven't given this thought at all now. Alright, so the last thing that's happening now is the Agrax going onto his strap and the larger satchel, and then the belt. And then we'll let him dry, and then I will seal him up and share him photo-wise. Well, and I also have to take care of the sword issue. Keep forgetting that part. I gotta find the sword. Gotta fix the sword. Oh, I wonder if I could do the... I might have an idea. Okay. We'll see what I can figure out for that. But that's what's going to happen post-production. He's going to dry. I will seal him. I will fix the sword. And then he will have his pictures taken. And you get to see how he ends up looking. All right, just the belt and we're good. Just lightly touch it through. A little bit on that buckle. Oh, and this part. Forgot. The dagger sheathed. Okay, so here we go. He's got his brushes. He's been painted. The base, of course, I said before, I am just going to do a straight black acrylic on that. Yes, it's actually, Scott, the file is in the description below. So if you want the file, it's right there for you, the link. All right, but Henbane is pretty much donesies outside of a couple of things that I'll do off screen. So thank you very much for everyone who hung out in the chat today. You were wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed our conversations and back and forth and joking around. Thanks for those who jumped in and giving some valuable information and feedback on some things to help others out who are asking questions. Always appreciated. Please make sure to come and follow me over on Twitter, on Facebook. I'm on Instagram too. You can also check things out in terms of progress for the items that are being revealed for the 10K giveaway. Item number 6 was just revealed today. So go onto the channel. There's a playlist specifically for that if you want to catch up with that. You can also check out things on my website, www.thecraftingmuse.com. Very difficult to remember, right? And then you can catch me tomorrow night over on Mini Terrain Domain playing my lovely bard, Cantriel. And we play together with, well, we play together. I play with Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, Scotty, the DM's Craft, Nerdark is Ted, Megan from Dice on Ice, as well as Jeremy from Erasmus Expeditions. So that's the wrap up for this afternoon. Have a fantabulous day, wonderful weekend, and I will catch you guys next week for the very cool, very wonderful reveal and close-up look of the Cribble God Foundry Kickstarter miniatures from the Curse of, I'm blanking on the name, but they have this great Kickstarter going on right now, so I'm going to be doing the feature work on that next week for the live stream. So do come and join us. You can see the great quality and the amazing detail that they offer in their miniatures. That is it from me. Now that I'm done rattling off the side effects, so to speak, I'll talk with you all later. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.